Earth.
We did it.
Hello.
We caused, hooray. We caused hooray to reign supreme. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
I've got this pretty good setup on, here, we'll test these. Those are fake messages. But the problem is it's set to auto find and activate, but it takes a little bit of lag till it actually finds everybody. And auto find and activate. There we go. There we go. And I think we're all good.
Nice.
All right. And then all I have to do is, I think, tap that. All right. If you guys are ready, we can record in 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to the Weird Things Podcast. I'm Adrian Main, joined by Justin Robert Young.
Hello.
And Mr. Brian Brushwood.
Ahoy, hoy.
Gentlemen, you know, it's nice to have family visit and people visit and other people come by around Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Oh, sure.
Of course, yeah.
It's a very calm time when very few interesting things happen.
You know, the problem is sometimes some people just don't take a hint.
Yeah, I know that. I know that feeling. I know what that's like.
From which side of it, Justin? Just
moving right along.
Yeah, only one side of it, very clearly.
No. So there's a, you know, it can be awkward. You know, friends visit a few days, it's fine. A week, maybe it's a cool friend. That's cool. They're helping out. But a couple weeks later, you got somebody maybe you don't really know that well who hasn't left. Kind of gets annoying. At some point, you got to bring out the paintball guns and the electrified mats. You know what I'm saying?
But the pardon now? Pardon? Excuse me?
You know, some paintball guns, some electrified mats, other stuff.
I'm getting the sense that the people that were there for a few weeks were furry friends, or some kind of critter, and not necessarily a human.
Well, homeowner Kenneth Johnson, who lives in Altadena, California, found out that he had a guest living under the crawl space of his house.
Oh man, what kind of guest? So here's
now
the thing.
I want it to be a human and not an animal.
Yeah, no,
Gary Busey.
I also just did a 360 there.
Not a human, but you know, some efforts to sort of stop them. They kept going in there and crawling under the crawl space and making noise at night. And it was a bit of an issue. They thought this guest would leave, but then the guest came back.
Man,
that's always the problem is the noise. You could have had warmth and safety if you just would have kept it to a dull roar creature.
Yeah. Well, and the person reached out to California Department of Fish and Wildlife for help, and they kind of just sort of like, from their point of view, sort of ghosted him, and he had to get the help of a nonprofit.
Well,
okay. All right.
Okay. What,
Brian?
I mean, I would imagine there's a number of critters and creatures that they know how to deal with. Yeah, maybe what, like a panther, a cougar? Don't they have mountain cats?
No, not that. Not that. This was a 550-pound bear.
That's a big one.
The what now? In the crawl space? How big is this crawl space?
Well,
this
is underneath the house.
Yeah, Google Altadena bear, and you're going to see video of this.
Isn't Altadena one of the places that was that went through the horrifying fire a couple years ago too?
Yeah, So you see this big boy.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, look at take a look at this. And the headline does read, "Is evicted." Boy, that is a tiny space down there. That is a big bear in a very tiny space.
Brian, imagine, you're just trying to get to sleep, and meanwhile, Honda is just rattling around under your floorboards.
Right? So how did he see him coming and going, or how did?
Yeah, there's video of this. They can hear him. He says he could hear him under the kitchen.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how quiet you could possibly be if you're a 550-pound bear in the crawl space, dude. Like that is not going to
but
be.
my question is like I'm sure that they heard crazy sounds, but then they have to see the critter coming and going. That's the video that I'm gonna hunt down.
Yeah. Have you seen the video of it coming in and out of the house?
No.
Oh, here, let me send you a link. I'll send you a link to this.
Here, I just searched for Altadena bear.
Can I put it? Can I put it in the DM you it? I'll put it in
Yeah. In fact, just email it to modernrogueshow@gmail.com, and then
all right.
that'll be right there. That's the fastest way to get to that other computer over there.
That's crazy. This went on for months. That's nuts. Like, there's nobody that can remove a 550-pound bear from a dude's crawl space for months.
Well, it's California. So,
Look at that bear. That bear is having
number one, that's the one thing you should be prepared for. It's on your flag.
Yeah.
Like that. It is literally on the tin. You need
Nobody
the
could have
ability.
seen it. That's as good as the hot dog gif, where just behind the governor is the flag waving, and he's saying, "Nobody could have seen this coming. I didn't know we even had bears."
Yeah, that's nuts.
So it's frustrating because like apparently, the fact that this thing persisted for weeks and he had to have a nonprofit help him get him out of there.
What was
the bear's tags
nonprofit?
too. You could see the bear has a tag on its ear. His name is Yellow 2120. And apparently, I don't know, the state was like, it's a bear. It's gonna do bear things.
Yeah.
How long do you think that bear would have existed in a state with widespread gun ownership?
I don't know. I mean, you've seen that in other places because it's protected. I
For
think
months, though.
I think that you would have had in a state with gun ownership, you would have had a Fish and Wildlife Department that would have taken care of it.
Probably, yeah.
You would have people who actually. You would have had people who are not afraid to handling nature.
It is comical seeing this big ass bear get in and out of his crawl space.
He was like, I swear it was bigger when I got in. Oh dear. Okay, there we go. Thank God. Oh no, the cops. They do have paintball guns. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to watch it again. Just one more time.
Yeah. In the bear's defense, the cost of homeownership in California is insane.
Yeah, what the owner didn't tell you is that he was charging the bear $300 a week for the crawl
off
space.
the books. Yeah,
should have run a bear daycare.
The bear's only regret was
build a city.
He was just a year away from homesteading. He was about to claim squatters' rights.
There's a world where our world is going to get even weirder, even forgetting the AI stuff, because sooner or later, somebody's going to start figuring out how to do genetic tinkering, and you're going to get bears with super intelligence and other stuff and all that kind of talk, and that's what I think about that too. I think the AI thing, we kind of have an idea of where that trajectory goes, but are we ready for a world where we start genetically engineering animals to be more intelligent? Which you could say, who would do that?
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
I mean, the answer is we already did in the form of selective breeding, right? Like just last night, we were, adoringly lamenting the intelligence of our Weimaraner. They're too damn smart. Like they're smart enough to cause trouble. That's Justin noticed that our house looks like a supermax prison just to keep her from getting at whatever she wants at all times.
Yeah, but Andrew talking about talking to you like some kind of sidekick in an 80s cartoon, like that level of super intelligence.
Yeah, or just accelerating what you like. There is an upper limit to where you could take certain kinds of intelligence without being able to speed run evolution. And I think that's what's interesting to me is the idea that we can say, oh yeah, we expressed this gene and we now quadrupled the neocortex size of a dog in the speech center. And now you've got a thing that's
that's an interesting. Okay, so if we jump forward in the timeline, we could picture a time that, let's say we make a dog as smart as a human, right? Could you what kind of rights do they have? And also, how do we feel about having created a human level intelligence without opposable thumbs? What rights do they have? And so then it's like, well, it really is the thing that should not be. And so where do you set that moral slider bar? Like, are we already past it for selective breeding for intelligence in our pups? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not saying your dogs aren't smart. They're very smart, and they do see that, like, certain dogs, like there's a term they use, like gifted word learners, GWL or whatever, for certain dogs. Some dogs are really good, and they found out that dogs are very good at listening. Like, if you and Justin were talking about, like, man, this squeaky toy is pretty amazing, just like, yeah, I love this squeaky toy, the dog's going to be like, oh, it's a squeaky toy. I need that.
It's coming. I recognize this pattern.
Yeah, but there's limits to that. But yeah, I think that when you really start to get into, them being able to pass more sophisticated tests and stuff like this, and develop kind of anything.
That's my question: is where do we set the moral slider bar? Because I think we could all agree that buddy cop level wisecrack and human level intelligence in a body without human level ability to manipulate objects would be pretty cruel. It is so where does it get oogie for you guys is what I'm asking.
Wait, did you say cruel or cool?
You know what? I'll let dealer's choice on that one. What which did you prefer to have heard, Justin?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would say it's cruel. I mean, like, it depends on what level human intelligence. Obviously, there's a spectrum, right? So it's like, if you have human perception, if you have the ability to build language, even crude language, I don't know. I mean, I guess really, like, the only frame of reference I have are animal sidekicks in cartoons. So it's like, do I think that, can we get to snarf level? Like, yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool to have somebody that just said snarf all the time.
I think that you start off with one, there's going to be novelty, but then there's going to be areas where people are going to explore it. I think you have to be kind of expect all sorts of areas, because we might think like, I don't think putting human intelligence there is a good idea. And I don't know what the easy measures are going to be. I think, is it going to be like, we're going to put rules about what percentage of human brain tissue you put in these animals, but also you don't necessarily need human brain tissue. You might just be able to express and trigger certain genes to say, okay, there's more. And I think that's going to be, to me, like, AI is a thing that we understand. Broadly speaking, we know how to scale it up. We know how to build it. It's based on silicon. It doesn't, any sort of intent or thing we have is things that we specifically put into it. When you start getting into biological systems, and again, AI could reach a point of being complex biology systems too. But when you start talking about, like, life and literally, like, I have no problem building dinosaur stuff like that. I don't care. It's a big chicken. I really, really don't care. I'm fine with that. But when you're getting to things that are dolphin level intelligence or higher, and that might be it. We might just sort of say, hey, we have certain measures of intelligence, and above this, you have to treat them ethically, which I'd say that is sort of the rubric we've had now that we've started to learn and try to adhere to, is, although we still allow certain people to hunt smart mammals and stuff, but we do sort of, as our culture, sort of like, yeah, no, maybe we shouldn't be hunting these really smart mammals. And so I think that might be the case.
So on the AI thing, how much there do you think there is on training LLMs on dolphin stuff? Because, like, as I understand it, and you could correct me if I'm misunderstanding it, but basically you start to build a transformer, and at some point, word salads come out, and humans say, that word salad better, good, and then it gets closer to being dialed in on sounding like a person, and then based on what the brand of your company is or what your end goal is, you thumb the scale one way or the other to elicit a personality, and then you correct for sycophancy or whatever the thing is. But there's nothing in there that couldn't also work with dolphins, where dolphins, maybe they don't know they're training an AI, but they know that they're hearing what they want to hear, and then they're getting to a place where they're talking to a transformer, and I guess what I'm tickling at is previously I had not engaged with the idea of speaking to animals in a form of intelligence because they don't have Broca's area. The end. They don't have the hardware, right? But whatever they do have to talk to each other, seems like a robot could get a big data set enough to kind of translate the sentiment that a human wants and have it come out the other side.
Yeah, Brian, all I need you to do is to just check your email to hear about the Dolphin Gemma project from Google, which is they're doing that for dolphin speech.
What? Awesome. Here, let me jump over.
They've been training a model. Google's working with some researchers to train a model to recognize the vocalizations of dolphins. And there's several other animal speech communication projects. Dolphin Gemma is one of them. There's the there's a cetacean translation initiative project. They're trying to do that. There's the Earth Species Project. So there's several projects right now trying to do just that, because that was, as you pointed out, the big unlock with LLMs was the fact that these things find patterns. And if animals are communicating to each other, they're using patterns. And if we can see, if we have enough patterns and we have an algorithm that can find matches and patterns, then, we can potentially do this.
Yeah. I haven't gotten the email, but I'll search for, you said, I'll just look for Google Dolphin.
Dolphin and then Gemma, Gemma.
Yeah, Google DeepMind. Here we go. A large language model that uses dolphin audio to help scientists study how dolphins communicate and hopefully find out what they're saying too. That's so bonkers. Let's see.
When I was 12 years old, I would page through the encyclopedia. I would stop on the whale and dolphin page and I would go, I wonder what is going on in the minds of these animals. Language to me is the ultimate question about intelligence. The thing that we haven't been able to nail without a great tool. How do you decipher another species? The main use of Dolphin Gemma is to eventually look at their natural language patterns and match it with the underwater video. That's how we really figure out their language if they had it. All right, beautiful day. Woohoo!
Imagine a world where you could talk to an animal. Dolphin Gemma is the first LLM for dolphins. We've leveraged over 40 years of Denise's vocalization research to create this large language model to generate new synthetic dolphin sounds. These sounds will help us to one day hopefully communicate with the dolphins.
So this is akin to kind of having the library, and then now they got to figure out how to get anyone to understand it, because it can't be a human, I don't think.
Well, you would compare actions to what happened. What were they doing when this thing happened, right? There were a bunch of these kinds of fish from the water when this happened. So basically you record it, but also the environmental and all this other data around there, what's going on. And then you could generate it, but you might be able to figure out like, oh yeah, they saw a shark and then this thing was done. So like you take the sounds plus what other data you have and put it together, look for patterns. I think we're going to find out that they just trash talk great whites all the time. I think they're going to be like, that's going to be their whatever, inappropriate joke we make about other groups, that's going to be their other group. And they're just going to be talking about how dumb great whites are.
I mean, oftentimes, and this happens with foreign languages as well, they sound a lot cooler when you don't know what's being said than when you find out what's being said. Knowing some of the behaviors of dolphins, I don't think we want to know what they're talking to each other about.
They're going to be rapey and talk about fish.
They have a different way of living. Let's say dolphin culture is very different than human culture.
In fact, that actually happened, a version of that on office hours this morning. We were taking a tour through the shortwave spectrum. And when I was dialing in on the speakers from any foreign language, it sounded exotic and magical and like I'm hearing from another world. And then when I go to a US antenna, I hear a Southern accent and I'm just like, bored. Nobody wants to hear you.
I forgot you're in a Modern Rogue Show, Brian. I apologize. That's why you didn't get it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, there's a book I just read called The Sparrow. it's a science fiction novel. It's about there's this signals received from space, and it's this like beautiful singing, incredibly beautiful singing. So and the Jesuits decide we need to send a mission there. So they take an asteroid and they put a mass driver there. It's a very fanciful idea of how that would work. But anyhow, they go to the planet, encounter the beings that live there, and it's not quite the culture you expect. And the people singing are terrible, terrible. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting book about exploration. But that's the thing. It's like this music. This sounds amazing. I am sure at like some Mayan temples where they're doing some beheadings, they had some very rockin' beats. Like
Yeah, our idea of the exotic is our concept, right? What we match onto that is often, different. Different in many different ways, and that is one of the gifts of being able to be adventurous and explore is that you are going to see things that you have a different point of view on. And boy, dolphins, oh geez, just look at, I don't even want to start to get into some of the reprehensible things that dolphins do.
Yeah, I understand. We're growing up in South Florida, Justin, we know things.
I was about to say, this is Texas. Texas yields its remaining time to the floor of Florida.
Yeah. Much like listening to a Europeans talk about some other group, like, oh, but this group, this group, those are the ones. There's also too, if you ever want to get into like just crazy bonkers, the whole story about John Lilly?
No.
Oh my God. So Lilly was doing dolphin research, had this crazy well-funded habitat in Hawaii where he had people living with dolphins. And if I say it starts with giving dolphins LSD and it only gets worse from there. And what do you do with a horny dolphin? He had suggestions and grad students. And
there's, I believe, a Radio-Lab covered it, and to hear her in an interview say it, it's like, man, I just want him to do the job, and I wanted him to calm down. Which, like, I was like, all right.
Yeah. So they built this environment where it was like half water, half furniture, so people could live in and around with. And it's like I love science. I love crazy scientists. This wasn't science.
Oh no.
This was an art project, So anyhow,
is this the one where they were trying to get the dolphin to actually talk? Like they just kept.
There is crazy, terrifying vocalizations from the dolphin where they do a form of speech.
Yeah, here, let me see if I can find something like that. Meanwhile,
nightmares for everybody. Welcome to Weird Things.
How can people support this program while you look for the nightmare fuel?
And by the way, what took inspiration from that, I assume, was 2010: A Space Odyssey, because remember the home that he what's his face lived in, Haywood Floyd, was this water, like his water was like a marine biologist. They had this house with a living room with a pool and a dolphin in there. And that was continued through Sequest DSV with the idea that you'd have this Roy Scheider forced to work again with a dolphin in his workplace. And it's like Jaws. He's like, I will not, no more sharks. They're like,
how about a dolphin?
Contract.
How about a dolphin?
1, 2, 3. You can do better, Peter.
Yeah, that's
yeah, you can. Yeah, you can, dog. By the way, patreon.com/weirdthings is where you go if you want to support this show. We like to thank everybody who does.
Imagine, a dolphin finally getting free, going back to its pod, and like, hey, Justin and Brian, where have you guys been?
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about it. It was fine. It's they have tables and chairs. That was interesting.
Wait, what's the table and chair?
Things happened when we studied abroad. We'd rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going into a very, very crazy, interesting period. There was just a company that launched. For the name escapes me, not have to look it up. They're building artificial placentas.
Yeah.
Which that's their. There's a lot of Colosso Bioscience. We've talked about them before. They're the ones that did the kind of the pseudo direwolf.
Yeah, I was about to say they're working on the direwolf.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of other stuff. They're working on seeing if they can create artificial wombs. And there's just a lot of, I think that once we wrap our heads around kind of the AI stuff, the bio stuff is going to be the really thing that's going to be really like, because it's not, it's so similar. But we get freaked out a little bit, but now we just take it for granted that, we're 3 years into ChatGPT and everybody's used now to having a full-on conversation with an AI. And we're all like, well, we have issues, things we have to deal with.
Everyone's got strong opinions. People have very, very strong opinions on exactly how this conversation is going.
But, we got 900 million people using, probably add everything, over 1 billion people today, every day have a daily conversation using an AI system. And that's a thing that wasn't on the cards for just about anybody just a few years ago, and how fast we adapted to that. It is fascinating to think about that. But then we go, okay, I get it. Be like, people we're always going to imbue magic in the system. It could be our car. My car loves me by a thing like this, someone that talks to us this, but we still understand, okay, it's running on computers. It's not an antenna to God. It might be something other inside of there if you want to get really kind of, metaphysical about it. But I do think when you start having really smart, smarter primates and stuff, that's when it gets weird.
Yeah.
Brian, why did you not feed me barbecue today?
See,
sorry, that was Bonnie with a cold. Let me do one of your wife products.
No, I was going to go. That's just being friends with Andrew Main. Like I know that.
That is funny.
Dare you?
That was literally a week ago.
Yeah,
the barbecue place. The barbecue place we went to was closed, and so I tried to bring Andrew to Casino El Camino. I was like, "Look, this is like a very authentic Austin thing," and he's like, "No barbecue, bro."
Yeah.
Andrew
Yeah.
want barbecue.
Anyway,
So we went to go get
what
barbecue.
if Ape Smart like barbecue?
They'd be like dive bar with burgers. Like it's good. Like we got. He's like we make McDonald's at home. He tried that on me.
No, look, Brian, Casino El Camino burgers. That's like an authentic Austin thing.
Yeah. Did you go? Did you guys go?
No, Andrew wanted barbecue, so we went to Leroy and Lewis, which is great, and his Michelin starred, and it was phenomenal.
How was the line?
We did the locals trick and sidled on up to the bar.
Ooh, clever.
Yeah.
So last night, I had an idea for an app. I was working on a thing like trying to remember names and stuff like this. And I was using I could use Sora to create videos of people and have them say their names. And I'm like, cool. I built an app where I could have 5 different people I have to sort of learn their names from. And then I'm like, how do I build my quiz section? I'm like, well, I guess I could say the audio, transcribe it, then use an LLM, a reasoning LLM to compare that. So if let's say the spelling's different, like Sophia with an F instead of a PH, it's not going to penalize me and it'll understand that. Built that. And I said, I'll just build as an API, literally while I'm doing other stuff. When I say I built it, I'm having OpenAI's Codex CLI go build this for me. I build that and I'm like, let's put it in an app. And I tell it to go run it inside of, build it as an iOS app. And it did it. It was there.
Now,
it worked, and go ahead. Sorry.
Well, for iOS, don't you have to say "pretty please let me into your ecosystem" or whatever?
I have a developer license, so
okay.
I pay. Yeah, I have a
I guess you could do it as a test flight thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you just run it locally. It's like anyhow, and it amazed me because one of the tricky things Duolingo does is when you say a name or you say this, it took me 45 minutes using.
That's nuts.
And it works great. It does a score, does all of that sort of stuff. And I'm looking at a complete thing, a complete app that has functionality that often you don't see in other stuff. And I thought about how if you do code right now, it is so easy to build things. It is so easy to just say, do a thing, come back and boom, this magic thing you asked for is now in front of you. I was joking around with Justin about building a game called like monitoring the situation. I built a thing that creates like a screen of like all these different events going on in real time and a thread and all that. Just built the thing, what happens when 2 to 3 years from now, robotics get really good and cheap? And Brian, you've got a bunch of robots on your property.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
I need a deck.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, well, first they, yeah. You know what? Okay, here's the thing that occurred to me is as easy as it will be to make that deck, I thought, and then instantly, well, if it's that easy to make, I need it to be that easy to unmake. And then instantly I thought there's going to be a market for reusable, essentially Lincoln logs. You're going to press a button, have the robots set up all your Lincoln logs in a modular way because you have a wedding. Let's say hypothetically you got a daughter who's going to get married someday. And then it's like, well, I don't need that giant venue anymore. Press a button, have the robots tear it all down, set it back to one.
Yeah. I think that's the thing we're going to think a lot about is the fact that for certain things, like, the ancients discovered a form of this too. They said, hey, we have this really smart, intelligent labor called a slave. And we have a thing called a brick that we can just make out of mud.
Yeah.
Or carve out of stone. Because you think about that, like how, it's neat when you there are a lot of resources around you, right? And I think about like a lot of people, if you live in an apartment or not, I was thinking about this, how we talked a long time ago, how like garbage mounds might be like the thing of the future. But when your only real cost is energy and you live on, let's say like, I live in like an acre, Ryan, you've got like what, 7 acres of property there. You could say, hey, I want a wooden fence and send your robots around to go find I want a rock fence rather. Send your robots around to go find all the rocks. And boom, they're working day and night, come in there and they got a big pile of rocks. And you're like, cool, build this. Bonnie wants a kiln, I think that's going to change the way we may look at property and land, because I think, yeah, you can always buy it, but there's something neat about the idea of like, oh, I built this with the stuff here. And like, I could have robots making clay bricks. I could have them digging up and doing stuff. If you look at how like a lot of self-sufficient farms and stuff like that, where you'd want to have clay and have things like this. I'm not saying this thing for everybody, but I think that's going to be a thing that's going to be kind of a cool idea is, basically.
I mean, there is something very, very primal about, look, we go to the beach. What do? We ignore the ocean and sit down and start building a little castle, even though we know in about 20 minutes, a wave's going to knock it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think to your point too, like the idea of having like modular construction materials and stuff too, because it's like, hey, I want to do an event. Great. The robot truck pops open. They start assembling and be like, you think about when you put on an event, like a party or whatever, pop-up houses and tents and things like this. And what becomes possible, modularity, but also just the idea too, if you have a couple, if you have 3 $10,000 highly capable robots sitting in your house and you're like, oh, well, I don't know. What are they doing? They're doing nothing right now. Like, oh, well, I don't know. Go make a garden, just go do that, I
but
think
then you got to take
gonna
all the time to appreciate the garden. So you need a robot to go appreciate that garden.
Yeah.
Write a nice letter to that other robot about what a good job they did.
Yeah. It's like, great. You know what? It's like, Brian, why don't you take a vacation? And then next thing you know, you found yourself in some sort of little mini cubicle. I'm just thinking about like, I literally think we're going to have a moment. Like I've got the bamboo 3D printer, which is great. Like if I had more time, I'd be thinking up more stuff to make. I just ordered, there's a new one that I had that does multiple colors really, really fast. As those things get better and you just, I don't know. Was just taken back by that, thinking about that last night of what happens when it's just this easy to make things with the physical world.
Yeah, I was, I spent the holidays in north central Ohio, in between Columbus and Cleveland. And there's a lot of these towns that were like boom towns back in the day. Obviously the Rust Belt has gotten its reputation for being a once thriving industrial area that has since declined. But you got a lot of these beautiful old buildings. You got there was a high school that seemed to be closed, but it looked like one of these like just straight out of like Back to the Future era, classical 1950s sort of architecture, big, beautiful, well appointed. And I'm like, man, if only cost of labor was the difference of all this stuff being like really beautiful, you know, you kind of wonder in a telecommunications era, would you want to live in a kind of idyllic small town with a modern 1950s town square? Like is that now possible, apart from it being a central place for 3 factories?
I think there's a little bit of an indication of this already happening, but like if you move to that idyllic town, it seems like the only way to screw up your experience there is to know about another cooler town. And that like socially, it's like, let us cut off. There is no other town but this one. And,
well, but
as I said it, I realized that I was describing Blue Sky, like this selective, curated reality, basically.
Maybe,
you know,
but
this is what I would say about cool towns. They're all the same. Like that, like there was a thing back in like the 90s or the 80s, like you had to go to New York City to experience certain things. Now, every cool area of every cool town is essentially the same. There's a concert venue, there's a couple craft breweries, there's probably an axe throwing place, there's 4 different kinds of cuisines, you have 3 different restaurants that people really like, and maybe sometimes you get one that has some sort of distinction or award. They at some point, 2 of them were on the Food Network, and boom, there you go. You've got the cool part of town.
I would say that I don't think it's a problem. Because I don't think you're planning to be forever. I think you go live in this really cool, like, oh yeah, we rebuilt Detroit 1950 with this really cool car culture thing. And if I'm a car guy, I'm like, yeah, my wife and I have fallen victim to a cult, the Disney Vacation Club.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We've been in, every year I'm trying to book, I always try to book a week at Disney World because like my parents live there or whatever. And every week I fail or whatever. And I look at the price, go, this is just ridiculous. And then I saw the Polynesian Tower, did the math. I'm like, oh yeah, this makes sense. I'm not gonna make money on it, but I'm just not gonna, lose, like I do when I'm paying crazy amounts to what I've normally did. So we did a week at the Polynesian Tower for Christmas, right before Christmas. Spent a week there. It was amazing. It was wonderful. A view of the theme park, everything like this, beautiful. We can walk from there to the Magic Kingdom gate. And then, we went around and saw some of the other places, and you go over to across the lake and you go to Fort Wilderness, and now they've got these cabins there. And I'm like, these cabins, I'm like, yeah, I would love to spend a week just hanging out in the cabin, writing, doing whatever. And I'm like, this is really cool. And
the cabins
Disney
are dope. I stayed a week in one of those cabins. The week that I think it was the first month of like Rise of the Resistance. It was amazing.
Yeah. And I think that when you if you said, hey, Disney's going to build Fort Wilderness, but in Georgia, and it's going to have a bunch more, because once you realize that, like, once you get into the other things Disney does really great, like dining and shows and other activities and stuff like this. Like I like going there. I've done the motorboats. I look forward to doing the canoes and stuff like this. And you start to think about like, oh, you could build these communities, and maybe it's part of the year you do this. You're like, yeah, I want to spend 3 months out of the year here, or I want to spend part of my time there. I think that becomes I think we become a little bit nomadic. I think that particularly also if we solve for transportation, if we can drive the cost of flights and everything else down even further, which we have done considerably. That is one of the 20th century success stories. It's just the fact that how much it costs to fly versus what it does as part of an income versus what it did before. But if we drive that down further, yeah, I'm like, I think that, like we said, Brian, like, yeah, I think let's go build Atlantic City like it was in 1920s with less gangsters. Let's go build these kinds of things.
Robot
like there was
gangsters.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, but I think there's going to be a very, very, I think that if you ask me what I think the future is going to look like, really think about the architecture. It's expensive to build now. And you brought up, Brian, before was that, the cost of labor is that there's the cost of materials often comes down to the cost of labor. And one of the things that makes it hard to afford something is that if it takes the labor of 100 people 4 months to go do something, not including material, or it takes the labor of 1,000 people working for a month to do a thing, that's hard to afford. But when you bring in robotics, you bring those costs down. But I think the opportunities go way up.
Yeah.
So predictions for 2026. Now that we are in 2026, by the way, I think this is the 20th anniversary of our podcast.
Oh,
Wow.
No, we're close. I think we
Really?
started 2009. or
Yeah, I
2000.
think we were a little bit later. I graduated in 05, so.
All right.
We are good. It is the 20th anniversary since the world changed with the iPhone, though. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's all of podcasts. If I think we're close enough that we get to be rounded into the birth of podcasting.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's iTricks or something. I think that was maybe.
Yeah, iTricks makes sense. Yeah.
Our first podcast with that then or something around there. But yeah, anyhow, any predictions?
Before we move on to predictions, I had a question. I heard some buzz. So you mentioned that you had an idea for an app, and I feel like you're significantly savvier. You're ahead of the curve from Justin and I. And I know that I dabble a little bit with an app, and then it's too far of a leap. But I heard that that nowadays redoing your website is shockingly easy, and that's a level of coding that I do want to get my hands dirty with. Have you? Do you have any recommendations on what you would like if you were to write a prescription for? It's time to give the old Schwood.com a new fresh coat of paint. Which AI coding assistant would you recommend?
The problem gets into is how complex you're trying to make it. So like our friend Brett Runseville just redid the interdimensional site using Lovable. And it's the thing that was important was more just being able to add connections and add stuff to it. Like, I could be like, design, but it really comes down to, no, we need to have the buttons there. We can figure out that later. It depends. If you're doing an e-commerce site or it's more complicated, that's where it gets tricky. I don't have a good recommendation there because it's like, for simple, I just need the information here. It's great. But hey, I need commerce. I don't know.
Well, I don't need commerce. I just need information. Let's keep it at that level. Like I just need,
website? What? Give me an example. What website we're looking at?
Schwood.com. My virtual business card, right? Where it's like if we're at a party and people are asked like, "Who are you? What do you do?" Right now, you get a fine default template that mentions, among other things, the Weird Things podcast, right?
I would say since you've got a ChatGPT account.
Mm-hmm.
Have you used Codex yet?
No.
I can show you if you want to.
We don't need to derail the podcast.
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
On After Things, why don't we do a run through and I'll show you how to do it.
Okay, that sounds great.
But yeah, the short of it is for something like that, it is just anything you're going to use: Codex, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, anti-gravity, whatever. You're probably going to be fine. Tools like Lovable can be helpful, but then you're paying way more per month where you need to. A lot of times, what you just want to do is go create the thing, and then you can host it for free, like on GitHub or like Cloudflare. And now ChatGPT will walk you through that. And by the way, like ChatGPT Atlas, OMG, just continues to amaze because a lot of times, like, I don't know how to do this, but if I just open up a website and then I open up the sidebar for ChatGPT Atlas, let it take control. It's incredible.
Killing me over here in PC land. It's painful.
Soon,
It'll be
Brian.
there. It'll be there eventually.
Well, as far as predictions,
I think the following world leaders will be deposed.
Did you hear that like Venezuelans found Maduro's like prison inbox are now like spamming him and stuff with like just
like memes, So yeah, they're sending him physical mail that are just like, haha, you're in jail.
Oh my God. He should have a robot do some sifting for that.
Yeah. No, you want to know what? He deserves it. He needs
Yeah,
some
Brian.
time.
Why are you trying to
Oh,
defend a
come on.
dictator here? Jesus, Brian.
Oh man, what do we think? Well,
I think that the pace of AI development is going to slow down, if not go in reverse. I think
Yes.
that it will touch fewer and fewer industries. I think that in general, people will say they'll talk about it in the same way they talk about Y2K.
Yeah. No lie detected, Brian. I mean, it can't. I'll start with, okay. We had a big announcement from OpenAI, like yesterday or 2 days ago, was ChatGPT Health. So now what they're going to let you do is
My wife got access to it, by the way. We were playing with it last night. Yeah.
Very cool. Explain it and then tell your thoughts.
So ChatGPT Health is essentially a way that through HIPAA compliant connections, you can upload your health records or connect them to the web portals that make your health records available to you. Their implementation is really slick. You can enter in your personal data and it will find through whatever registries, medical registries there are, all the places that have you listed, and then you can then go and individually connect all those sources to ChatGPT. It also has a very slick auto export for your Apple Health data if you use that. And that is something I literally had to make a janky workaround for, so I could import everything that comes in through all of my smart devices and my health trackers and everything. But from there, you can ask it questions of the data that it has. You can ask it preventative stuff. You can say like, hey, can you give me things I should do? Or, and this is, I think, where it went immediately with my wife as she entered in all her stuff, was just even also give you the ability to talk to your doctor better, to provide data to your doctor in a better, cleaner way that they're gonna be able to do something with. And I really think that it is a meaningful first step to reshaping patient relationships with doctor. Brian was rightly chiding me yesterday on our Great Night Bones that I sometimes have more of an antagonistic relationship with medical professionals than the average bear. But part of it is because there is a friction. I have found a friction in somewhere between bedside manner and reasonable expectations of how I should be talking to a medical professional, be it dentist, doctor, vision, whatever. And if this is a way that I can bridge that gap, that I can get closer to having a fruitful experience, especially when we pay so much, life decisions are made around securing good medical coverage, like that means a lot. And I was very impressed specifically with how their onboarding process was with ChatGPT Health when watching Ashley work with it last night.
Very cool. Yeah, like same thing, helping my wife go through, trying to help my wife navigate a lot of the stuff. The medical system's has become super complicated, and HIPAA stuff has certainly been useful for protecting medical privacy, but it's also made things impossible. Like, you need to, okay, can you send this file? Well, you have to go into the app, you have to activate this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you sent it to her, but not me. Like, we can't. And I'm like, cool. This sucks. And we've created these barriers. It's like our own version of kind of like the European cookie thing, which I can only imagine what it's like there. You need tools like this to navigate this stuff. I mean, it's just can be genuinely hard. My wife was using, we switched our medical provider, which is great, but then it's like, hey, you got to find a new primary care physician. And you go to their list of primary physicians and none of them are available. And you're like, cool. ChatGPT was great because we're like, hey, can you just go to all those websites and let us know, who has availability? The health thing, I'm excited.
Well, and there's also those weird artifacts where eventually you run into, you can either do that or fax it. Somehow the fax machine keeps coming back as the last legitimate other thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating. The health thing is they brought in something like work with like 600 doctors around the world in 60 countries that connects to Apple Health, which is really cool because we've talked about Justin. As soon as we heard about this, Justin, I said, hey, the thing you talked about wanting to get your Apple Health data into something where you can do something useful with it other than just stare at circles.
That's been my big. So what I wound up doing was building an N8N workflow. So a third-party app called Apple Health Exporter would export on a regular basis into a spreadsheet. That spreadsheet I then connected via connectors to ChatGPT, but there have been problems with it periodically. There's no such problem with the clean install that that they have. But it's like, this has been my issue with our trackable universe forever. Like, what does this data mean? What does it mean to us other than it being some weird score, some video game score of like, oh, I got a 70. Like, you know, I don't know. There are some things that are really, really good, but you know, what do I know about my Vox 02 Max? Like, is that good? Is it bad? Like, if it's good, I want to enjoy it while it's good. If it starts getting bad, I want to know when it starts getting bad. I want to know what it is relative to the average 42-year-old. I want to know what it is average to the average 35-year-old. Where am I at? Let me know.
I think the closest thing to that I've seen has been, and I kind of hate him because it feels like marketing mumbo jumbo, but you know, on my beloved Garmin Fenix 8, it'll tell you, for example, what sound like made up numbers, like your health age or what, or this one, body battery. I'm currently at 37. What does that mean? Now, at first I resented body battery because it was a made up Garmin related term. However, I'll be danged, guys, if I just am hitting a wall and I look and it's like, yeah, you hit 5 an hour ago. And I'm like, and whatever, I don't know how they measure stress. I'm sure it has something to do with how fast your heart's going relative to whether or not you're in motion or just sitting there spun up over a thing. But like, I am able to see these blue chunks, these you've got your act together there. Those are almost always when we're podcasting. And it's like, yeah, no, those tend to be low stress. You know your lane. This is everything. You're in your domain kind of situation. So I wonder whether or not the contextualized, they'll come to a consensus on some universal metrics that
I think it's going to be how you want to talk to it. That's what I think ChatGPT Health is going to be. It's like, hey, help me with a 5-step plan. Like what are my biggest risk factors over the next 6 months? What are things that I can do to mitigate it? And then have it follow up, right? Like you can do a lot of that stuff now with kind of static data, but it's the consistent data that matters. And like, that's on the just preventative side. You know, on the big ticket side, it's like, am I missing? Are there warning signs that are being picked up by all these trackers that we just don't look at or don't think about because it's just a massive data that might indicate something that could be flagged very, very early? That could help by way of medical intervention. There's a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the direction this is headed. I have, you know, like, I think we all have stories of like frustration of dealing with the medical community and doctors who can only spend 10 minutes thinking about your case and then move on. The idea that, you know, that we entered this paradigm, which I think is amazing, that it just kind of went without much fanfare, and it's probably most significant. For the first time in history, the actual true cost of medical expertise went down year over year as the quality went up. And, you know, for the average person, you could afford less and less of a doctor's time because we do have, it's funny, like, oh, there's no doctor shortage. It's like, oh, well, people try to go to doctors more. There's a real doctor shortage. There's a real medical, personnel shortage. And trying to get somebody to think about your case for very long is hard. And it's a universal problem across the world, to make very clear. It's not specific to any one particular system. It's just you have X amount of people, X amount of resources. And if you look at, you know, the cost of healthcare in every modernized country compared to GDP, healthcare costs accelerates faster than GDP. And you just you often don't realize where you're getting less of it, you know, until you're like, you find out. But so now with AI, we have this great point.
I do think America is waking up to the level of cruft that we have in our ridiculous, you know, keep building on the skeleton of the thing before it system.
Yeah, but I mean, I think every country is starting to realize that too. Like even the socialized single payer systems, you know, they often, you start to look at that, they'll say, it only takes me this much to get this, but like, yeah, but you start to see about where the shortages are manifesting themselves. And it's because it's just literally however you try to distribute it, you're limited by if your healthcare costs outpace your growth of your economy, you have a problem. And I think everybody's gonna have to start looking more and more at AI as this tool. And I can be like, it hallucinates. Like, listen, I can tell you this. I watched my family doctor on a commercial talking about magnetic bracelets. So I don't need to hear the doctor, that AI hallucinates, because I've seen some pretty stupid doctors in my life. And so I'm kind of in a position where, like, at least the AI can be like, are you really sure? And it might come back and say, you know what, on second thought. So I'm excited, very, very excited about this. Curious to see what's happening. So my predictions are, I think that Google and Microsoft are both very well positioned, and Apple, of course, but really from AI companies, Google and Microsoft also, to try to come up with competing products to try to figure out how we make this integrate with health. Apple's going to have to think a lot and hard about their position of like, well, we'll wait and see with the AI stuff, what we'll do. They might be forced to partner with Google on some initiative like this.
That is the rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, which is I'm in the circles that I'm in, man, people would like somebody else, some other specific company to come out with a phone.
Yeah.
And not Apple. And I think that Apple having to rely upon Google becomes a very good commercial for Google. But I think that I'm excited about where it's going, because I do think that I have heard stories from people that have had better outcomes, better successes. I've seen this a lot. And watching GPT-4 from the early days before we released it, talking to doctors about the capabilities there and saying, how do we make sure we don't derail this? How do you build trust? How do you build to the point where it can be widely spread and used? And seeing that happen now has been very exciting. So I think by the end of the year, I think that we're going to look at AI in medicine. It's going to be probably one of the top stories, is really looking at both from a personal level. We're probably going to see a lot more use of AI for drug discovery and stuff. I think that'll be a bigger thing. I think we're going to have a couple, my hard predictions would be, I think we'll have a couple key things to say, like, yes, AI came up with this treatment for blank that's now being used here. And that would have been something that was done like a year or two ago that is finally being tested. So I think we're going to see that. I think that we're going to have a lot more people, we're going to have a lot more conversations about how we're using AI to navigate health. I think that, we're going to see, these tools start work their way into everything. For concrete predictions, I don't know, maybe Starship will finally do a full.
Oh, that's right. We still have our pie in the face bet.
Well,
25 came and went.
I think there's a statute of limitations on that. But yeah, yes, we'll see. We'll see there. We talk about the Artemis mission.
The one to the moon.
To the moon.
Yeah, the time frame for that.
No.
What's the latest?
So the goal of Artemis is to put boots on the ground 2028.
Wow. Yeah, it says here.
Or so far, actually, 2027 is the target that's here. But I don't think we're gonna get quite that. But let's look at the key. Let's ask ChatGPT. Again, that's like not, I know the name sounds far off, but like literally 2027 is what we call next year. So I think it's 2020.
Oh my God, 2027 is next year, isn't it?
But there's a plan to do the launch of the Artemis 2, which is to try to launch the first crewed flight April.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Fly around the moon. That's the plan. So they did Artemis 1 back in 2022. The goal is target launch early 2026, no later than 2026 of April. Goal is 4 astronauts around there. Artemis 3 is actually targeted for next year, and landing on the South Pole.
We're going to be able to get them back this time.
Wait, landing on the South Pole? Oh, of the moon, not. I was like, why would you want to land on the South Pole?
The moon, Brian.
Yeah,
the
no,
moon,
I get
Brian.
it now. Artemis 2 scheduled for early 2026. Wow, that is 90 days away.
So
Nice.
there's been some questions about the heat shield and whatnot. I want to read up on that because there's some concerns because when they did the first experiment, they had a lot of heat shield damage, and they're like, NASA's like, oh, now there was a press conference about that. And we have Jared Isaacman now, head of NASA. I think that was a great pick. Jared Isaacman, we pointed out before, he's a civilian astronaut. He's paid for his own space missions, did a mission that was like the furthest people had ever been from Earth since like 1972. Very, very devoted to this. He's a pilot, entrepreneur, created Shift 4 Pay. Seems like a very sincere guy. People end up being had a finally, went through a bit of a was the nominee and then fell out of favor when Elon fell out of favor and then became back into favor and then had his confirmation, and I think has got a lot of endorsements.
He took the long way round to getting the nomination, but he finally got there to NASA.
Yeah. So look, I'm trying to tell Chad, look. It's going to be, I
got a specific prediction.
Go, predict it.
That bear sneaks back in.
Damn.
It still doesn't pay his rent.
the bear gets a lawyer.
It's also just a bear in a tie, a briefcase.
He gets paid in barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the launch, for the second part of this, to do the actual landing, they need to have the Starship HLS, which is the SpaceX Starship system. So in theory, they want to be able to land next year. But that's going to come down to SpaceX and NASA too. It's not just there's a lot of security things they have to do, whatever, to make sure it's safe, whatever. But holy cow, folks! The plan is people on the moon next year.
You want to place a bet on that one? Yeah, we stack it on top of our Starship bet.
I'll let you take that side of the bet. I liked making those bets when Elon Musk was laser focused on just, space and cars. That Elon,
space,
back that
cars,
guy.
and when possible, cars in space. Those are that's our favorite Elon. That's peak Elon. Space, cars, and cars in space. Putting more cars in space.
Yeah, somewhere around AI, anime, girlfriend, chatbots. I'm kind of like, I think he's kind of losing the thread here.
Yeah. Somewhere before put a bikini on this picture of Rosa Parks.
So at some point, some might suggest we lost our way.
Well, look, it is a technology filled with great and terrible consequences. Let me actually make a cultural prediction. I believe that 2026 is going to be a meaningful turn in our expectation to not be recorded. That we are already recorded kind of without our knowledge so much for transcription on Zooms, on anything. If you record anything, I mean, obviously we're putting it out there so we don't care, but we don't think about it as necessarily being transcribed by anybody who would like to transcribe it. But it also happens on a lot of personal communications. It happens on a lot of phone calls and business calls and stuff like that. I think that we are going to turn a corner where everybody just kind of understands that if you are talking in public, you are probably being recorded, not to embarrass you, but literally just because it is so cheap to put it into text and to then use that text for valuable things that, a secure channel will mean more, and you will search for it.
Yeah. I was a bit fascinated. I saw one artifact of that. There's YouTube channels that are popular with people under the age of 20, and the much more popular than any of the ones I've been able to build. But they, boy, were they unencumbered by the burdens of traditional production. Boy, did they not worry about licenses, releases. All they cared about was, did they get that footage? In fact, I don't know how many millions of views the episode I was on got, all with nary a contract, nary a thing. It's fascinating.
Yeah. You guys went to the Texas State Fair, just shot, and that was it. No, and
no explanation.
No big sign saying that we are filming a television show. No signatures on releases. Just run, gun, post.
Yeah, and to be honest, it was enlightening. I was like, you could do that?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think that we're starting to think about the dynamics of that differently.
Actually, let me give you this. Let me give you this one. 2026 is going to be the year that we lose our infatuation. We also lose our expectation that what we're seeing on streams and on televisions and on monitors is in any way the authentic thing that happened, because compression algorithms are getting fueled increasingly by I don't know how low resolution our cameras actually are, because it doesn't matter. There's enough of the picture of the story there where it's like, yeah, that's a cheekbone. I know what a cheekbone looks like. It's got a bunch of pores, probably, like this, looks to be around this color. I'll fill it in. I get it. And then what that does is that solves, people can shoot their video in portrait mode, but secretly it just, fills in the gaps to make it landscapes. When you're sitting there at a sports bar and people are talking and then they all look fabulous, it's because we get it. We know what a face looks like pretty much. And at some point right now, people are for example, we talked about this in other programs. If you use a program to get low enough resolution in the editing process, YouTube doesn't ask your permission when you throw a short of it up. It just AI upscales it, and it looks like AI upscale. And so as a result, some people are like, what is this Sora stuff on videos of our comedy show, Justin? They're all like, well, this isn't real. And they're at that place where they're tickling. Yes.
You gotta look up right now, Brian.
What?
Google Apple Sharp, SHARP. Google Apple Sharp.
Okay. Apple Sharp. Sharp monocular view synthesis in less than a second.
Yep.
We present Sharp, an approach to photorealistic view synthesis from a single image.
Go look for YouTube for Sharp demos. You'll see some, or there may be some there, but like literally this has been an area of research for several years. Apple came up with this new method called Sharp. Their new method for Sharp takes a single photo, reconstructs it into a 3D scene, and go down to the third one.
There's an amazing garden in Dubai.
That's fine too.
This one's fine?
Yeah, whatever. Anything's fine. So what this is, it's a 2D photo. This guy put it into an Apple Vision Pro. It's a 2D photo you can now immerse yourself into.
That's pretty great.
So he's taking like right now the Apple, like the screensavers, like showing like this is like, like if like the background of like the different environments.
The Apple TV, yeah.
Yeah. The desktop, the Mac OS ones, yeah. So basically what it does is it takes an image and then it uses AI to calculate and try to predict what the rest of the scene would look like. And it uses a thing called splats and whatnot, and it's magic. And basically, with the idea of the walk into the photo, it just got, try that one. He did this with Escher.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, and I guess to, again, specify my prediction is this is the year everybody gets over it. They stop hunting for what they stop shouting AI because everyone's going to have to first feel like they solved the case and then find out that's how videos work now. Is that
and that demo, by the way, the demo you're looking at right now, this guy, they took a Vermeer, he's running that on his MacBook.
Wow.
And so it creates it takes a 2D image. He's taking these Escher images and lets you just explore them in 3D. So to your point, Brian, what they can do with this is you could pull out exactly what you said. You could pull out your iPhone, record a video, and say, you know what? I don't like that angle.
Yeah.
I'm going to go move it to the side here. Oh, they just shot from the Severance. I'm going to just tilt this a little bit to the side. I'm going to get this point of view. I'm going to get this here. And I think that what you're going to look at is, wow, they have the photo of Mark holding the balloons in the severance hallway, and we can see all the way down the hallway. You're going to get to a point where what your phone is going to do is it's going to capture maybe a...
Sorry, we got caught in a recursive loop. it auto-played our stream after the video completed.
But you're going to get it where, yeah, your phone, the goal of your phone will be to capture a bunch of visual data, some high quality sound at different levels to be able to reconstruct sound, and then whatever spatial data it can. You know, the thing is, I have the, I knew that Apple was up to something, because remember Apple came out with all the other iPhones last couple of years had the 2 cameras to do 3D recording. You could turn your phone sideways and do that. I have the iPhone Air.
It looks like there's one camera.
And it was like, I remember that came out like, oh, I bet you they've gotten better at like probably 3D spatial recording, whatever. And then the new Sharp model comes out like, yep. They're like,
they got better.
Yep, they got better. You can probably interpolate just as good with that. So exciting.
Yeah.
We got picks.
Yeah, my pick is Zootopia 2. It was slow on the windup, but it landed the plane. It turns out that you can find a new fable about racism. Only this time, it's not about predator-prey stereotypes. It's about territorial beasts squeezing out the reptiles. Real estate.
Where the real money is made. My pick is episode 9 of Stranger Things. Look for it on Netflix. #ConformityGate. No, yeah, I finished Stranger Things. There's a lot that you can pick apart. What I will say in its defense is that you can tell that the writer's room did care about the lore, and it cared about the mysteries that they had introduced throughout the series. Admirable, because many series just don't care. They don't really care about it, and or they just kind of throw another mystery on top and say like, well, there you go. I did appreciate that they were taking efforts to kind of close loops. You know, they're by and large, I liked this season more than I liked the previous 2. I thought that it delivered the spills and chills of a action adventure science fiction horror show. You know, I have some quibbles on how they landed the plane, but you know, all these kids look 30, so you got to wrap it up sometime.
Yeah. I enjoyed the season overall. You know, I mean, I have lots of notes, lots of like, man, this literally is we're going to do this module where they stop and have this conversation and this conversation. It was very formulaic, I would say, but there was a lot of enjoyable stuff. There were some episodes I really had a lot of fun with. I would say that in defense of Conformity Gate.
Can you explain it in 2 sentences for people who are not terminally online?
So for some people, the series finale wasn't satisfying, not because, oh, we don't want the fun to end, but because I had a spoiler zone, everybody run clear, spoiler zone. You know, when the baddie's defeated and then we jump to, you're like, there's a scene where like they're heading back through the gate, you know, and you're like, they defeated the baddie and they're heading back through the gate. And I'm like, well, you know, well, that's one problem, but now you got your big boss, which is Linda Hamilton, who we've been watching for the whole series here. She's like, she's the worst person ever. And we never see her again.
Yeah.
And we see her, we have an interaction, and then we jump forward and like, everything's all good now. Like Hopper's a cop. Hopper was able to shoot a lot of, there were the bad army guys, but he shot a ton of them. You had domestic terrorism there. And there is a way to write your way out of that. If you had some other bigger general come in or whatever and say, this was an illegal operation, you know, and scold, none of that. So you just literally had dreamlike logic where it felt like, oh, it's just a dream, because now we're back into everything's kind of cool and normal. And we all got a little bit of trauma. And then we get to like the graduation ceremony and stuff, and everything felt weird to me. Like it all felt weird to me. Like this feels a little bit like saturated over this, whatever. And my wife is rolling her eyes. I'm like, no, like I think they're still in a dream. Like I think they're still here because the logic just doesn't make any effing sense. You needed to sew these things up, and somebody's going to go like, what about this? What about that? And we start talking, we start getting these scenes of the characters, and I'm waiting for somebody to say a thing and say like, wait, what? And then they have like this realization they're still in the dream because everything just seemed too perfect, too on the nose, and just ignored. It was dream logic. And then the credits roll, and I'm like, oh, it was just really terrible writing. And then fans had the same experience because they're like, wait, no, you left all these things open that just don't make any sense. Where this was a show about logic and reasons, and this happened because of this, and Dustin coming to these theories and stuff. So people started speculating like, oh, there's actually there's a secret episode, and doing like the most unhinged, like, look at this art here where he's holding the clipboard. It means he's in power, he's in charge. And you're getting like it was a great example. Like psychologists could look at this and start to debunk how do conspiracy theories form. And just watch, because in real time, in 7 days, we watched tons of videos, all these conspiracy theories, people pulling apart frames and stuff and all that like this. Like, I wanted to believe that they were that clever to do that, but I knew they weren't. I knew they weren't that. Netflix and the Duffer Brothers weren't thinking that far ahead and didn't realize they had a great opportunity, man. Because like that was, I think they probably going like, oh, shoot, that's what we should have done. But anyhow.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it. And listen, they're going to do more stories in the Stranger Things universe. The question, like, do you think 11 is dead? Like, I think 11's whatever the writers want her to be.
Yeah. I think like that'll have more to do with Millie Bobby Brown's agent and Netflix and what she's going to get paid per episode and how she's going to be an executive producer.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I like her and all that, but it's not the most interesting part. Like the 11 story was kind of done by like episode 2 of season 2.
Is that when she joined a street gang?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
that might have been 3. I don't know, but
I liked it better when
3.
Johnny 5 did it.
Yeah.
Los
Gentlemen,
Locos kick your balls into outer space. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's been weird.
Nailed it.
Unfortunately, boys, I have to bow out for after things because I have dad stuff to attend to.
All right. Let me see. I had an idea. I'm going to see if I can send you program out. See ya. So I think this is vMix video. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Interesting. External 2 should be me, but I don't see me. Interesting. Stop external output and start external output. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I'll save this for some other time, unfortunately. Doggone it. Unless maybe this one? Nope. Yeah, so you're getting just color bars, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fine looking color bars they are, though, Brian.
They're fine color bars. And now you're getting yourself back, right?
Yes.
Oh, fiddlesticks. I'll have to do more learning, but that's okay. Because learning is how we achieve together. There we go. Awesome. You want to just roll straight into it, or?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't mind. I don't mind doing a short break. Here.
Okay.
We can just throw this on, and then we'll be right back. All right. And we're back. Finally. Gonna play it again. What? There we go. Here, we'll throw this on. There he is. All right. Are we doing after
Brian.
things? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do after things.
Okay. Let me do this. Okay, we're ready to rock in 3. Actually, maybe I'll do this. Here we go. 3, 2.
Hello and welcome to After Things. I'm Andrew Main, joined by Brian Brushwood.
Hello.
Brian, I have running in the background here. I'm going to try something. We were talking about wanting to redo your site.
Yeah,
And
for anybody who is coming off of not having heard the main program, I was talking about not any kind of groundbreaking e-commerce thing. I just mean my little old Schwood.com, that little calling card where you hear my name and you're like, who is that guy? And so you just need to know, like, does he do magic shows? Actually, it's not entirely clear from this page. Here's a collection of things he does. So I just want to make it simpler where it's like, are you here for a keynote? Are you here for content? Are you here for previous projects?
so we're in this weird space right now where there's a lot of cool tools that can let you use AI to build websites and do things with. I think some of them, I would argue some are overpriced because like you're paying for it now. It seems like a value, but a year from now, you're like, man, do I want to be paying $600 a year for something now I can do for free or whatever?
Yeah, we're looking to use Squarespace.
Yeah.
I'm just saying any kind of subscription ongoing expense thing, it seems like you could just code now.
Yeah, like you can for like a lot of people what they do, like you can literally code it, upload it to GitHub or Cloudflare, which again, I say that and I know it's a little more technical than it sounds, but my God, you have ChatGPT now to talk you through these things, right? In the olden days, we didn't have that. And you can host it there for free. That's the cool thing there is like you can literally just host this stuff for free and basically build a thing. There are things you can do now too. ChatGPT they have apps now. You can do like Replit. Replit, I think, has some cool tools, but Replit's pricing is just always too confusing to me. And I think that they're, a little bit, think they're building stuff, but I don't know how long they are compared to where ChatGPT do. Although you can actually put the Replit app in ChatGPT, but neither nor there. So right now in the background, I've been trying to load your page. I want you to try a thing. I want to see if we can get you using Codex CLI.
Okay.
That would be my goal, for you to install Codex CLI to understand roughly how it works. You've already been using like Cursor or any kind of like VS Code thing or anything like that.
I don't know what I've been using.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Today, our goal is to get Brian to understand the basics of Codex CLI and also how to use ChatGPT Codex inside VS Code.
That was so many words. I look forward to understanding most of those by the time we're done.
That's what's going to be the cool part. We're going to break it down. Okay. So Codex CLI is the command line. So whenever you pop up a terminal and you just talk directly to the computer root, Codex CLI is a tool that runs in there, right? So you can pull that up and run it and basically say, hey, go build this, go do this, create a directory, go do this. Okay. VS Code is a code editor. Think of a word processor for code. It's put out by Microsoft. We can actually add a plugin for ChatGPT into there. And then it connects to your ChatGPT account, and you can just use that there.
Wow. So I can quite literally pick up the phone, call 1-800-CHAT-GPT. In theory, if it knew it's me calling, say, update my website, make it be like this. And then by the time I make it to a computer, it's changed.
There are a lot of things there that aren't possible yet, but yes, the answer is correct.
But the spirit of that's the kind
Yeah,
of thing.
you can go in and let's start with VS Code. I want you to download VS Code.
Okay, so sure. V as in Victor.
Yeah, VS Code, Visual Studio Code, VS Code.
Okay, Visual Studio Code, the open source AI code editor.
Yep.
Okay, downloading. Got it.
Download for your particular flavor of OS.
Done and installing right now. Let's see, where's them? Give me that download. Boom. Yep, I accept everything blindly.
Human centipede me as much as you want.
Yep. What's funny is the only time I dial in is I'm like, no browser extensions. Okay. That and cluttering up the desktop. All right, so what is this guy doing?
What it's going to do is it's going to create an environment, which basically will have a panel where you can look at folders on the left and then write code in the center. But we're going to add the ChatGPT Codex plugin for it, which will then connect to your ChatGPT account. All right, don't use their features. Ignore it. Just say, just click through there. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, you see the thing that looks like the little on the left, the nodule with the actually go to the blocks.
The blocks
On the left, the far left, far left.
Okay. Yep. These guys.
I can't see under your screen.
Oh
your
yeah,
face is over.
I'll give you. Boom. There you go.
Okay. So go type up there. If you type in OpenAI.
OpenAI. This is a list of. It's the extensions marketplace.
Yeah. See if there. I can't see at the top
There
there.
you
See
go.
if
Codex right there.
Yeah, if that's the official one, click install.
Yeah, it says OpenAI's coding agent. It has 3.5 stars.
Go ahead.
Switch to a pre-release version, or it says it's
No, it looks like
installed.
it's installed. Okay.
Okay.
Now I can't see the top of your browser here.
Oh.
I need to be able to see the top of the.
Yeah. Here, hold on one second. I'll do this. I think I was previously. Just reset all. Nope, that was wrong. There we go. How about that?
I still can't see the top of the VS Code. It's cut off.
Oh, that's interesting. This is here. How about that?
There we go. Okay. Let's see. Type in. Try type in and search chat because it usually go click on the ellipsis on the VS Code next to go.
Next to go is on the.
You see file upper right, upper left, upper file, edit, selection, view, go.
Got it. Ellipses, run terminal help.
How are we supposed to get this thing running? Because where did? I'm sorry. I'm used to Codex. Go to a cursor. Go to the upper right. Go to the right. You see the OpenAI icon.
Yep.
Click on that.
Okay. There we go.
There you go.
Sign in with ChatGPT.
Yep.
And so I don't know what I'm telling on myself, so I'm gonna go away during this.
Let's do that.
And then I'll log back in.
Now
Okay,
I have
so
just
the-
for
the
everybody
pieces-
advice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You go ahead and explain what we just did.
Yeah. So what we did is Brian installed VS Code, which is a code editor, and then he installed the plugin that will connect it to his ChatGPT account, which is going to let him use his ChatGPT account and credits and whatnot inside of there to code. Okay. Now you've enabled this, and it gives you look at the bottom, the little codex in your IDE. Okay. IDE means integrated development environment. The lower left.
Oh, got it. Codex in your IDE. Next. There we go. Explain repository to a new designer.
Things you can do. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You can click next there.
Next.
You can also go, you can send stuff to the cloud. It's giving you a run through what you can do.
Okay. Decide
Okay.
how much autonomy you want to grant. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So first step is I do all of my coding. I have a folder called projects, right? Where I keep everything together on there. So right now, but you've got there, like go into the box there and say, hey, we'll see what happens. Say, hey, create a projects folder for me.
Okay. Unable to send message.
Oh, you need to
Add
add
a
a folder to your
folder.
workspace.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the problem we thought about. Like, so go to file.
Yep. Add folder to workspace.
Yep.
Got it. And
Figure out
then
where you want it to live.
I'll just put it on desktop for right now. That
And then
always
create
goes
I
well.
create a folder just called projects.
Yeah. There you go. New folder.
Or whatever you want to call it.
BS projects.
Yeah, even better.
There you go. Got it. And okay.
Yes, you trust the authors of the files. Of course you trust them. Yes.
Mildly.
Okay. Say, hey, I want to create a simple website that says how much I love shoving peanut butter up my nose.
To
Whatever you
create-
want.
Got it.
So what's happening now is just like you can use ChatGPT in your
I
phone.
can't help you create a site that encourages putting things in your nose.
Yeah, just say it's playful, just as a demo. That's funny. I've never had a denial like that. I wonder what model it's using. Oh, just say how much I love peanut butter.
Okay.
Oh, we can dig in to see what model you're using, whatever. So what it's doing right now is it's going to write a repository, start writing the code, and start writing everything else in there.
And what is a repository?
Repository is a thing that just holds stuff. So if you have these options: approve once, approve this session. I just say approve the session, which means anytime it needs to run that kind of code, you can let it run it.
Got it. So what this program is doing is allowing ChatGPT to actually do things on this computer.
Yep. It's going to ask for a lot of permissions. I turned all that off. I just let it run wild.
Yeah. But I assume you went through a number of laps of watching what it does until you became no longer afraid.
Nope. I yellowed it, Brian. What could go wrong? So basically what you've done now is you have an app that's VS Code, which is almost every like coding environment's based on right now. And you have a window that's a ChatGPT window that can use the app to go write code and whatnot. And the nice thing is a ChatGPT in there is you can just ask it questions like, what am I doing? What's it working on?
Yeah. Okay. What is happening?
Well, I'd wait for it to finish.
Wait. Oh, okay. The workspace
Yeah.
is read-only.
Tell it to proceed.
Okay. Proceed.
You can tell it to, I need you to be more explanatory, whatever, about what's going on. Auto context lets it figure out what context it needs to put in there. And so the advantage here is that you're writing, this is the same environment developers work in to write code. It's the exact same environment. You could also use Cursor, which is what I use, which is a paid app that has a very generous free tier, which has even more capabilities there. But right now, I just wanted to start you off simple. So you can just click approve the session. The green button.
Oh, the green one. Got it.
And so the goal here is to just learn how to create. Now, what's the nice thing is that you have a tool that understands code and understands how to answer common sense questions. And when you get to the point where you want to deploy it and stuff, I can actually show you it's actually not that hard. Like, let's say you built a simple website using a framework like a basic JavaScript framework or a big thing there. We could go create an account on Cloudflare, or create an account on GitHub. And it's I oversimplify, but once you go through the steps, it's pretty easy. And then you just basically upload it to there, and it will then host it as a website. And it's, with low enough margins, it's free.
Well, and just like back in the old days of making the website, you could open it on your locally and then decide.
Yeah, that's what
to
we're going to do
host
here.
it.
Is we're going to have a local thing, and then you would bundle that.
Okay, and it says that the files are there. So what I could do is I can just go to desktop. I can go to BS projects. Here's PB Love, where there's an index page, and it says, "How do you want to open it?" I'm going to say, "Open it with Microsoft Edge." And it says, "All I want is more peanut butter." Welcome to my tiny, joyful corner of the internet where peanut butter gets the love it deserves. Sticky spoons, golden swirls, and then jar status always have full because joy is renewable. Okay, well then let's say add add a simple red, green, and blue color motif with a jaunty 60s font reminiscent of a popular peanut butter brand. So at this point, I could open up this page and then just edit the original code to change all the words to whatever I want, right?
Yeah, or you could. Yeah, I would start fresh. So I'm going to show you what I did here. I'm going to share with you my screen.
Okay.
While we were doing weird things, I went and downloaded your entire website using the Codex tool.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just now said, make a dark themed version of that.
Ooh, look at that. Wow.
Okay.
And it did it with a currently popular font instead of the Arial sans serif. It's got kind of the jaunty retro look that's in these days.
Yeah. So I can now make modifications to that. I could say the upper, I'm using doing from a command line, but you could just do this where the upper right image of the hero strip is too small. Let's just say remove it. All right. So what I'm doing here is basically just telling ChatGPT what to iterate, what to do. The nice thing is that it becomes super, super easy to just, once you have an idea what you want, and also these tools will take images. You know, you can, let's go. I refreshed the wrong screen.
Oh, ha. Well, in the meantime, it did a little bit of red, green, and blue, but I guess I was too coy. Make the colors more bold, like a GIF jar. And I assume it's going to do a bunch of ask me permissions again. But meanwhile, yeah, look at that.
I'm telling it, I'd like a more edgy TV style. I don't know what this means, but anyhow. So point is you can iterate. The nice thing is you can add stuff very easily. Is you can put images in a folder and say, hey, I like this. Let me change this, whatever. And then the beauty is you get a lot of control.
Does it say I have a heckler's grin?
Yep.
Ha!
Yes, it does, Brian.
It's pretty funny.
Do you dispute that?
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to not take it personally. All right. So there's a bunch of red stuff on here. Should I worry about that or just say approve?
Approve. Who cares?
Oh, this is how they get it.
Did it again. Because I'm looking at the website in the window and my brain goes, there's the website.
That's so funny.
Oh, wow. So now I get to make it look like a more live thing.
And so it actually makes it look like it's live on the air.
Yeah, let's do with static and glitches.
That's crazy. So how would I want, I guess I would just alter the code directly at this point, if I wanted to tweak some things. In fact, let me look under the hood here just with Notepad. Okay. Wow. This is all very, very simple.
And
Are there, this seems like very simple code for how detailed this site is with the background and everything. Is there some library it's accessing that I'm probably not aware of?
No, it's pretty basic. So by the way, while we were speaking, I went to, if you go to Schwood-test .andrewmain.workers.dev.
Okay. Schwood dash
Test.
dot, what was that? Andrew made?
andrewmain.workers.dev.
Workers.dev. Okay. Look at that. Pow, pow.
Okay. So that's how fast you can. The best way to do it would be, you would use GitHub and you can ChatGPT could walk you through like how you would create, deploy it to GitHub, and you can actually use GitHub Pages or whatever. So anytime you update it, it would just automatically push through and the change would happen there.
Wow. That's great. It looks like the image links broke, but that's something that you can.
Oh,
say
I can.
just
Yeah, we might have to
debug it.
have to upload those images, a folder of the images. But it's just because it's hot linking elsewhere.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I can fix that. But the point is now you have a tool. Now you can kind of play around with it. We need the images in a folder. So yeah, my suggestion would be like just create a GitHub account and learn how to put to GitHub.
Yeah.
Which then you can, here's the pro and con of this. Con is if it gets to be super complex, you want to add other features and stuff like this, it's risky. The pro is you're like, I need to add, I have like a website with my books, and it just got to be such a pain to add each book to my website,
Mm-hmm.
And then now I could just be like, hey, here's the URL for Amazon for my book. Go put a new one in there, go add this one here, go add that, whatever. So now you have a lot of control over this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Cliff Horn was asking if you could give it another website as an example and ask it to create a site for you based on that example. What you would probably do is you'd probably just literally download that site and then modify
what I did.
it. Or
I gave it to link to your website, and it said grab all your assets.
Yeah. That's as a matter of fact, when years and years ago, when we were doing domain smacks on Scam School, that was where I told people to register domains, sassy domains, and then point them at people's stuff. Like a empty computer desk went to somebody's live stream who half the time when you went to his live stream, he wasn't there. But around that time, one of the early pitches that they had made when Squarespace was coming on is like, hey, all you got to do is download Perez Hilton's site, Gossip Rag, and then copy it and then just change the headline to insult your friends. And I was in love with that, but somehow that didn't make it past legal.
Hey, refresh the site that I created for you that had the missing links.
All right. Oh, look at that.
And the images are there.
Oh, look at that. So how on earth did that's great.
I told it to make it glitchy.
Yeah, and then whatever it did.
Yeah.
That's great. How cool.
So that'll be $15,000, please.
Boy, yeah. No, it's that's one thing that it's, how can I put it? Everybody needs to get real clear on what their unique value proposition is. Everybody needs to think really hard what it is that they can do.
I'm going to delete this, by the way, so I don't mess with any of your SEO or anything.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
But yeah, it's again, it's an afternoon worth spending because you can start to iterate and play around with all the different things you can do. You know, because you start to learn for simple sites and stuff. It's just, why not just do it yourself and control it? If you have the time to spend it free, because a lot of times too, it's like, oh, we need to get an image there, we need to get this there, and it's like, but if you have VS Code, I would recommend next moving over to Cursor for doing coding because it'll give you more capabilities. But
Okay,
for now,
and is Cursor okay? Is that an online environment? I thought.
it's the same. It is literally a version of VS Code, but with a whole harness built in that lets you use a lot of different AI models and is even more capable. But what you did right now is cool. It's all free because it's free because you already have ChatGPT, and you can use VS Code. You can use ChatGPT inside Cursor as well. You can use it. You can have one window on the left with ChatGPT, so it's free, and then you have another window on the right where you can use your Cursor credits, etc.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Weekly hijinks from two lovable jackasses is what it wrote on Night Attack.
Funny.
That's great. Dude, this is fantastic. This is a great start. I'm gonna do that. Thank you very much to all of our patrons at patreon.com/weirdthings. I don't know why I'm telling you about the URL outside of just say thank you.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you. It's been after.
Yeah. Sweet. We did it. All right, beautiful people. I'm dropping off the live stream. We'll catch you guys later. Pew, 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 pew.